Did you know that a single vitamin pill, the one sitting quietly on your nightstand, could silently raise your risk of a stroke while you sleep? No pain, no warning, tonight you feel fine. Tomorrow morning, you might wake up unable to lift your arm, your words slurred, your balance gone in an instant. I'm a senior health specialist, and over the years I've seen far too many older adults suffer life-changing strokes, not because of smoking or terrible diets, but because of something they thought was helping them. Vitamins. Yes, vitamins. Those bottles lined up in the kitchen cabinet that promise stronger bones, better memory, more energy. But here's the shocking truth. Taken the wrong way, or in doses far too high, some of these helpers can quietly turn into dangerous triggers for the brain and blood vessels. Today, I'm going to reveal the 6 common vitamins most seniors take: vitamin B6, vitamin A, vitamin E, niacin, vitamin D, and vitamin K. They sound familiar, right? Yet when misused, each of them can tip the scales toward disaster. So, stay with me, because what you're about to learn could literally save your life or the life of someone you love. And before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Have you ever wondered if your daily supplements could be doing harm? Type the number 1 in the comments if you've had doubts, or 0 if this is brand new to you. And don't forget to subscribe to Health Expert 365 for honest, science-backed health advice made especially for older adults across America. For many older adults in America, starting the day often means lining up a handful of pills, blood pressure medication, cholesterol tablets, and yes, a row of vitamins. Walk into almost any kitchen of someone over 60 and you'll see the familiar bottles. Vitamin D for bones, vitamin E for the heart, B-complex for energy, and maybe an extra capsule of fish oil. It feels like a daily insurance policy, a way to fight aging with science neatly packed into a capsule. But here's the reality no one puts on the label. Vitamins are not always harmless. In fact, when taken in the wrong dose or at the wrong time, they can backfire sometimes in ways that directly affect the brain and blood vessels. Too much of a good vitamin can raise blood pressure, thin the blood too much, or even stiffen arteries. And for the brain, that means one thing: a higher risk of stroke. The problem becomes even more serious as we age. After 60, the body doesn't process vitamins the same way it did at 40. Metabolism slows, the kidneys and liver are less efficient at clearing out excess, and what used to be a safe dose can slowly turn into toxic buildup. Instead of simply being flushed away, these vitamins linger, accumulating in tissues, in blood vessels, and sometimes even in the brain. This is why seniors are more vulnerable. A vitamin that might boost energy for a younger adult could, over years, quietly increase the risk of a clot, a bleed, or nerve damage in an older one. And the scariest part, most people don't feel anything until it's too late. You go to bed feeling normal, and you wake up facing the aftermath of a stroke. So before we dive into the details of each specific vitamin, remember this: the brain is the most delicate organ we have, and it depends on a fine balance. Tip that balance even slightly with a wrong supplement habit, and the consequences can be life-altering. 1. Vitamin B6 isn't always safe for your brain and nerves. For years, vitamin B6 has been marketed as the ultimate nerve support supplement. Walk into a pharmacy or browse online, and you'll see bottles promising sharper memory, better focus, and stronger nerves. It sounds like the perfect answer for aging adults who worry about tingling hands, tired legs, or fading concentration. But here's the problem: when taken in high doses, vitamin B6 can quietly do the very opposite of what it promises. Instead of healing your nerves, it can slowly damage them, sometimes permanently. Let me share the story of Harold Jenkins, a 76-year-old retired truck driver from Kansas. Harold was disciplined, the kind of man who kept neat logs of every mile he'd ever driven. After retiring, he wanted to stay active, so he invested in supplements that promised nerve support. Every morning, he took 2 tablets, each packed with 100 milligrams of vitamin B6. That's 200 milligrams daily, over 10 times the safe upper limit for older adults. For the first year, he felt fine. But then the tingling started in his feet. His hands grew numb. Soon, his balance wavered. The first fall was in his living room. The second on his porch steps. The third landed him in the emergency room with a head injury. When I reviewed his supplement list, the culprit was obvious: chronic vitamin B6 toxicity. Unlike vitamin C, which flushes easily through urine, vitamin B6 accumulates over time. And here's what makes it dangerous: it attacks the myelin, the protective coating that insulates your nerves. Think of myelin like the rubber around an electrical wire. Strip it away, and the signal inside begins to short-circuit. For Harold, that meant constant numbness, weakness in his muscles, and a gait so unsteady he had to give up driving entirely. 4. The truth is, older adults only need about 2 to 10 milligrams of vitamin B6 each day, most of which you already get naturally from food, like poultry, fish, fortified cereals, and yes, even a single banana. Yet so many supplements on the market contain 50, 100, even 200 milligrams per capsule. They're sold under names like Brain Booster or Energy Formula, and people take them faithfully, never realizing they're overdosing their nerves day after day. The scary part is that the symptoms creep in slowly: tingling in your toes that you dismiss as arthritis, a little numbness you blame on poor circulation, maybe some forgetfulness you chalk up to age. By the time you recognize something is wrong, the damage may already be done. Some cases improve when the supplement is stopped, but others are permanent, leaving seniors dependent on canes, walkers, or family support. I'll put it this way: vitamin B6 is important, but only in small amounts. The safe dose is a fraction of what many nerve support supplements contain, and this is where humor helps make the lesson stick. A banana already gives you enough B6 for the day. You don't need to swallow a handful of pills that add up to 20 bananas, because unless you're trying to dance the disco with tingling feet, overdosing on B6 is one experiment you don't want to try. 1. So, when you see those bottles lined up at the store, remember Harold's story: more is not better. With vitamin B6, more can mean the loss of independence, the loss of mobility, and in some cases, the loss of your freedom to live life on your own terms. 2. Vitamin A, the hidden risk in beauty supplements. Vitamin A has long been celebrated as the beauty vitamin. Advertisements highlight its role in radiant skin, sharp vision, and graceful aging. Many older adults reach for it in the form of capsules or anti-aging blends, convinced they're doing their eyes and complexion a favor. But here's the unsettling truth: too much vitamin A doesn't just sit quietly in your body. It builds up. And in high doses, it can create problems that look frighteningly similar to a stroke. Let me introduce you to Dorothy Simmons, a 79-year-old retired piano teacher from Oregon. She loved music, spent her days teaching students in her cozy living room, and believed she was taking charge of her health. For over 5 years, Dorothy faithfully swallowed a supplement with 10,000 IU of vitamin A every single day. She thought it was helping her eyesight and her skin, but gradually, she began to suffer from pounding headaches. Her vision blurred, she felt dizzy, and her speech became slurred. Her family feared the worst: a stroke. When doctors ran brain scans, they were surprised. No clot, no bleeding. Instead, Dorothy had elevated pressure inside her skull, a condition known as pseudotumor cerebri, or false brain tumor. The culprit: years of vitamin A toxicity. Here's the science: vitamin A is fat-soluble. Unlike vitamin C or B vitamins that wash out in urine, fat-soluble vitamins linger. They accumulate in the liver, fatty tissues, and yes, even the brain. Over time, the buildup can increase intracranial pressure, strain delicate blood vessels, and mimic the symptoms of a stroke. Headaches, blurred or double vision, nausea, dizziness, even permanent vision loss if left unchecked. Older adults are especially at risk because the liver slows down with age, making it harder to clear the excess. What's worse, many multivitamins already contain the full daily recommended dose of vitamin A. Add an eye health or skin beauty supplement on top, and without realizing it, you've doubled or tripled your intake. The safe upper limit for seniors is about 2,500 to 3,000 IU per day, and only when medically necessary. Dorothy, like many others, was unknowingly taking more than triple that amount. By the time her symptoms appeared, her body had already stored years of excess vitamin A. Dorothy's case is not unique. Too much vitamin A can quietly erode independence. While Dorothy slowly recovered with medical care, she now requires regular eye exams, pressure checks, and balance therapy. She told me with tears in her eyes, "I thought I was helping myself. I never imagined I could be hurting my brain." Let me make this clear. Vitamin A is essential but only in moderation, and best when it comes from food. Carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, and other leafy greens naturally provide the right balance without overwhelming your system. Supplements should be used cautiously, only when there's a proven deficiency. And here's the ironic twist: the very vitamin people take, hoping to see more clearly, can, in excess, be the reason their vision fades. Sometimes, the beauty supplement you trust becomes the silent thief of your independence. 3. Vitamin E, friend of the heart or trigger of brain bleeds. For decades, vitamin E has been called the heart helper. It's often marketed as a supplement that supports circulation, boosts memory, and protects the skin. Many seniors proudly add it to their daily routine, believing it's a natural safeguard for their heart and blood vessels. But the story is not that simple. In the wrong context, vitamin E can quietly shift from friend to foe, and the consequences can be devastating. Let me tell you about Evelyn Brooks, an 81-year-old retired librarian from Ohio. Evelyn was sharp, witty, and always had a novel in her hand. She also lived with a heart valve issue, so her doctor prescribed warfarin, a common blood thinner. Her care was meticulous regular checkups, blood work always within range, and stable blood pressure. But then she saw an advertisement for vitamin E in a magazine. It promised better memory and circulation. Without consulting her doctor, she bought a bottle 800 IU per capsule and started taking it daily. Just 3 weeks later, Evelyn collapsed with a crushing headache and confusion. In the emergency room, she vomited, struggled to speak, and could barely recognize her family. A brain scan revealed a hemorrhagic stroke bleeding inside her brain. The culprit wasn't uncontrolled blood pressure or a fall. It was the combination of warfarin and high-dose vitamin E, which made her blood so thin that even a tiny fragile vessel in her brain gave way. Here's the science. Vitamin E, especially in high doses, works like a natural anticoagulant. It slows down clotting. If you're already on medications like aspirin, Plavix, or warfarin, adding large amounts of vitamin E is like doubling down on blood thinners. Your blood becomes too thin, your vessels too fragile, and the risk of a brain bleed climbs sharply. To visualize it, imagine running a sink full of water. The faucet is on, but at the same time, you pull the stopper from the drain. That's what happens when warfarin and high-dose vitamin E meet. The blood flows, but there's nothing to hold it back. The safe recommended daily intake of vitamin E for older adults is only 15 milligrams, about 22 IU. But the reality is shocking. Most supplements on store shelves come in doses of 200, 400, even 1,000 IU per capsule. And people take them faithfully, day after day, without realizing they're stacking the odds against themselves. Evelyn survived her brain bleed, but she never returned to her old self. She now walks with a cane, and her once razor-sharp memory has dulled. She told me with tears in her eyes, "I just wanted to help myself. I didn't know I was doing harm." Her story is not unique. Many seniors still believe that if a vitamin is natural, it must be safe. But nature can be powerful, and power always requires respect. The lesson here is clear. No vitamin is absolutely safe, especially when combined with heart or blood pressure medications. Vitamin E can still play a role in health, but in food-based amounts, nuts, seeds, leafy greens, not in megadose capsules. If you're already taking blood thinners, always consult your doctor before adding anything new, because sometimes the supplement you think is protecting your heart could, in reality, be endangering your brain. 4. Vitamin B3, when a cholesterol remedy backfires on the brain. Niacin, also known as vitamin B3, has often been praised as a natural remedy for cholesterol. Some doctors prescribe it, while countless supplements market it as a heart health booster. It sounds appealing, a simple pill that helps lower cholesterol, improves circulation, and supports overall vitality. But here's what most seniors don't realize: at high doses, niacin can backfire. It can send your blood pressure swinging like a pendulum, stress your heart, and even trigger mini-strokes. Meet Frank Miller, an 82-year-old, retired postman from Florida. For decades, Frank walked miles, delivering letters through rain, heat, and snow. In retirement, he wanted to keep his heart strong, so he started taking an over-the-counter supplement that promised to support cholesterol and circulation. The label looked harmless enough, but on the back, it revealed 1,000 milligrams of niacin per serving. Frank took 2 a day, 2,000 milligrams total. At first, Frank thought the strange symptoms were minor. His face flushed hot each morning, turning red as if he'd just finished a jog. Soon, he felt pounding in his chest, dizziness, and episodes where his speech slurred briefly before returning to normal. His wife worried it was anxiety. His son blamed the blood pressure medication, but the truth was far more dangerous. Doctors later confirmed Frank had suffered a transient ischemic attack, or, thanks in advance, a mini-stroke. While it didn't cause permanent damage, it was a clear warning sign. The culprit: niacin in sky-high doses. Here's the science. At high doses, niacin forces your blood vessels to expand, what causes the infamous niacin flush. But soon after, those vessels constrict again, leading to dramatic swings in blood pressure. Over time, this yo-yo effect hammers the delicate vessels in your brain, raising the risk of arrhythmias, hypertension spikes, and strokes. Think of niacin like an overexcited DJ at a nightclub, blasting the volume to the max, then suddenly cutting it down, then cranking it back up again. Your brain and heart don't want that kind of electronic dance party. They crave rhythm, not chaos. The safe upper limit for most older adults? Anything above 50 milligrams a day should only be taken under medical supervision. Yet many supplements come with hundreds, even thousands, of milligrams in a single serving. Frank was fortunate. He stopped the supplement in time, and while he still battles high blood pressure, he has not had another, thanks in advance. But his story is a cautionary tale for anyone who assumes that more is better when it comes to vitamins. Here's the bottom line: niacin has its place, but not in megadoses. For cholesterol, safer and more effective treatments exist under a doctor's care. If you're considering niacin, check your labels, ask your doctor, and remember, sometimes the very pill you take to protect your heart can be the one that puts your brain at risk. 5. Vitamin D, the double-edged sword. 4. Vitamin D has earned the nickname, the sunshine vitamin. Doctors recommend it for bone health, mood, and even immunity. Seniors, in particular, often see it as a must-have. And yes, in the right amounts, vitamin D is absolutely essential. But here's the side of the story that rarely makes the headlines. Too much vitamin D can silently push your body toward disaster. Meet Walter, a 74-year-old retired Navy veteran. Walter was disciplined, sharp, and proud of his health routine. Every morning, just like clockwork, he lined up his supplements. Among them was a 10,000 IU capsule of vitamin D he had bought over the counter. He believed he was doing the right thing, protecting his bones and staying strong. But what he didn't know was that his daily habit was slowly turning into a ticking time bomb. One morning, Walter's wife found him confused, his speech slurred, and his right arm limp. He had suffered a stroke overnight. Lab tests later revealed extremely high calcium levels, stiff arteries, and unstable blood pressure. The culprit was vitamin D toxicity. Here's the science. When taken in high doses, vitamin D causes calcium to build up in the blood. But your body doesn't know what to do with all that extra calcium. Instead of going to the bones, much of it deposits in your arteries, making them stiff and narrow. As we age, arteries naturally lose flexibility. Combine that with nighttime dehydration, reduced blood pressure, and a sudden calcium surge, and you've created the perfect storm for a stroke. The most frightening part? There are usually no warning signs. You go to bed feeling fine, and wake up with your life forever changed. Now let's talk about safe limits. For most older adults, the body only needs about 600 to 800 IU of vitamin D per day. In some cases of deficiency, up to 2000 IU may be appropriate, but only under medical supervision. Yet, many supplements on the market contain 5,000 to 10,000 IU per capsule, and people take them daily for years. That's why the timing of your supplement matters too. If you take vitamin D, do it in the morning. Taking it before bed, combined with the body's natural nighttime changes, can quietly increase your stroke risk. Here's the bottom line: vitamin D is not Starbucks. Ordering a venti size isn't cool. It might just be your one-way ticket to the emergency room. So let me ask you, how much vitamin D are you taking each day? Comment the letter D and the number below, because I'd love to know your routine. 6. Vitamin K, the double-edged sword of blood clotting. Vitamin K doesn't get as much attention as vitamin D or B complex, but in recent years it has gained popularity among seniors. You'll often see vitamin K, the 2nd of March, keyed in supplements that promise stronger bones, healthier arteries, and better heart protection. On the surface, it seems like a smart addition to your daily routine, but just like the other vitamins we've discussed, vitamin K can be a double-edged sword, especially if you're already taking medications for your heart. Here's the catch: vitamin K plays a crucial role in blood clotting. That means it helps your blood stop bleeding when you have a cut. But if you're already on anticoagulant medications like warfarin, which many older adults take for heart valve issues, atrial fibrillation, or clot prevention, adding extra vitamin K can throw everything off balance. Too much vitamin K makes those blood-thinning medications less effective. Suddenly, your risk of dangerous clots increases. And when a clot travels to the brain, the result can be a stroke. But that's not the whole story. Too little vitamin K is also a problem. Without it, your blood may not clot properly at all, which raises the risk of uncontrolled bleeding even from small injuries. This is why vitamin K is such a balancing act. Your body needs enough for normal clotting and bone health, but not so much that it cancels out the life-saving effects of anticoagulants. Think of vitamin K like a traffic cop at a busy intersection. Too few traffic cops, and cars crash into each other, creating chaos like bleeding that won't stop. Too many traffic cops, and they block the flow completely, leading to a traffic jam like clots forming where they shouldn't. Your brain, just like traffic, needs balance and smooth flow. The safe message here is clear: vitamin K is not inherently bad. In fact, it's essential. But it becomes risky when taken without medical guidance, especially if you're already on heart or blood-thinning medications. Seniors should never add vitamin K supplements to their regimen without consulting their doctor first. Food sources of vitamin K, such as leafy greens, spinach, kale, and broccoli, are generally safe in moderate amounts. But even then, if you're on warfarin, consistency matters more than quantity. Doctors often advise patients to eat about the same amount of greens each week, rather than swinging from none to a salad feast. Here's the takeaway: vitamin K isn't the villain, it's a regulator. Your body needs it, but it needs balance. The danger comes when we assume more is better, or when we ignore how it interacts with powerful medications. So, remember this: when it comes to vitamin K, don't self-prescribe. Talk with your doctor, especially if you're taking anticoagulants. Sometimes, the most powerful health choice is not about taking more, but about finding balance. By now, you may be wondering, if so many vitamins can backfire, what's the alternative? The truth is, your body was never designed to thrive on mega doses of pills. It was built to run on real food, whole, natural, nutrient-rich foods that your brain and body recognize instantly. And when we go back to that foundation, amazing things can happen. Let me introduce you to Margaret Wilson, a 73-year-old retired school principal from Arizona. Margaret was the kind of woman who kept everything in order: her books, her garden, her health. But despite her best efforts, she wasn't feeling right. Her mornings were filled with dizziness, her balance felt off, and her blood pressure kept climbing. She proudly showed me her drawer full of supplements: vitamin D for bones, vitamin E for her heart, B-complex for energy, niacin for cholesterol, and a multivitamin just in case. She thought she was doing everything right, so we tried something different. Instead of reaching for bottles, we built her a plate: no powders, no pills, no megadoses. Just real food in the right balance. For breakfast, Margaret had 1 boiled egg for clean protein, half an avocado rich in healthy fats, a slice of whole grain toast for steady energy, a handful of blueberries packed with antioxidants, a glass of room temperature water to hydrate her brain. Sometimes, she added walnuts or almonds for an extra boost. That was it: simple, colorful, nourishing. Within just a few weeks, the change was undeniable. Her blood pressure stabilized, the dizziness faded, her energy returned. She told me, "I feel clearer than I have in years." Here's why: your brain doesn't need more in the form of 10,000 IU or 1,000 milligrams. It needs balanced hydration, healthy fats, steady fuel, and micronutrients in their natural form. And the best way to get that is through food. Well, so what are the best foods for brain and heart health? Leafy greens like spinach and kale, rich in folate and antioxidants. Fatty fish, like salmon and sardines, packed with omega-3 seconds that protect brain cells. Berries, especially blueberries and strawberries, loaded with polyphenols that fight inflammation. Nuts and seeds, for vitamin E, magnesium, and healthy fats. Whole grains, for stable blood sugar and circulation support. These aren't exotic superfoods, they're everyday staples that quietly work like medicine. This is the lesson: your body doesn't need mega doses. It needs consistency and balance. A plate of colorful, fresh food is often more powerful than a shelf full of pills. So let me ask you, what's your favorite brain-healthy food? Is it blueberries, salmon, walnuts, or maybe kale? Share it in the comments so we can all learn from each other. Because sometimes, the simplest changes made at the kitchen table are the ones that protect your brain for life. At this stage of life, awareness is the most powerful medicine you have. If you're over 60, every pill, every habit, every choice carries more weight than it once did. The truth is, it's not about how many bottles of vitamins line your kitchen counter. It's about knowing which ones your body truly needs and which ones could silently put you at risk. Too often, people believe that more vitamins mean more health. But the reality is, excess can backfire. A simple daily habit, repeated without awareness, can become a one-way ticket to the emergency room. So, don't let routine replace understanding. Read the labels. Ask your doctor. And most importantly, listen to your body, especially when it whispers. Because protecting your health isn't about adding more, it's about knowing better. We've talked about 6 vitamins: B, 6A, E, niacin, D, and K, A. Each of them has an important role in the body, but when misused, they can quietly turn into hidden risks for your brain, your heart, and your independence. That doesn't mean you need to fear vitamins. What it means is that you need to respect them. Here's the truth. Pills are powerful, and power demands responsibility. Read the labels, ask your doctor, and most importantly, listen to your body when it whispers. Because sometimes, the smallest warning sign, a little dizziness, numbness, or blurred vision can be your body telling you something important. At 60, 70, or 80, you still have the power to take charge of your health. You can protect your memory, your independence, and your quality of life, not by taking more pills, but by making smarter, more balanced choices. So, let me leave you with this. Don't let routine habits become one-way tickets to the hospital. Instead, choose awareness, choose balance, and choose to stay strong and clear-minded for the years ahead. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one change you'll make starting tomorrow? Share it in the comments. And if this video helped you or someone you love, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Health Expert 365 because together we can age wisely, live fully, and stay sharp.